Welcome to Stop Now. I'm JK, your host for this week talk show, and I'm joined by my co-host Shiva. Hi Shiva,
Hi, hi JK.
how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
All right.
Yes,
So it's just you and me today. So our team has disappeared. I'm just kidding.
yes, yes.
And Nate is busy as usual. He
Yeah,
has some shows on
okay,
Sunday, so he won't be able to join us today. And
okay.
probably we might get a special guest. And if
Mm,
he is going to join, we will go with him. And
okay,
also,
okay.
our team is kind of maybe burnt out with what we
Mm-hmm.
did the last week in our experiment
Yes,
lab.
yes,
It's too
yes.
much of work. You know that about.
Yeah.
So why don't we start with where we are headed and how we are going to continue with this conversation?
Yes. Mm, yeah, we are like same thing. Like you said, like we are so busy with last week, and we got like more than 4 jobs, and we are still finding people to get it, get inside. We'll discuss about the psychology behind slave to become a slave. People ready to become a slave but not work for some other one. Is there anything behind stopping them to do what they are? How to find out the people to work for them? It's so hard to.
Uh, yeah, I was trying to be creative on that, right? So we realized that, like in the experiment itself, we realized how difficult
Mhm.
even for big companies to engage these recruiters, and just for filling in the position, they randomly uh, select people without even going through any verification process, and they onboard them and they send the laptop even before onboarding. So all
Yeah,
those dramas are going up. So when we are faced with the same challenges with a volunteer-based organization, and as a nonprofit, how do we recruit people? So here we go. Mohammad Yar, welcome. Welcome to our
Thank you,
talk show.
Jacob.
If you are alive, come alive. It's streaming live, and we are talking about our experiment and hoping that like our guest can join. The conversation is more on continuation of it, and I was explaining it to Shiva that probably we can turn things around by advertising and posting it in social media. We need slaves. What do you think?
yeah,
So people will start approaching us, right? So what see, negative attracts more, right? People will uh, talk
yeah.
about it, and they will create a uproar over the social media saying that like they are advertising as if like they want slaves. And let's find that out, right? What do you guys think? Like it's just some idea popped down my brain.
Seems like you were alone in the meeting, like Shiva was not there. So normally when you are alone, the ideas came like this sudden,
These kind of
So
craziness happens,
yeah,
right?
crazy ideas. So it seems like you were waiting for Shiva, me, and Amar, and the idea came.
Uh, no, 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 no. Mohammed, we talked in the morning, for you, yesterday, I think, with Darshan, a guy from Mumbai, India,
Yeah.
and we discussed this kind of thoughts. So maybe after sleep, JK had a
Yes.
kind of crazy thing. Yeah.
Not really. See, I mean, I like the way he put forward, and he's a young chap, a fresh graduate, and aspiring to be in the service of state or the central government kind of thing, right? So that was his ambition, but still he put forward his viewpoints in the way he put it. I really liked it, right? So that triggered us various thoughts. And not only that, but I was thinking for a long time, why are we struggling to do good, right? If it's going to be bad, it's easier, right? People just jump on the wagon and say like, oh yeah, let's do. I am getting more money and I am ready to do whatever you want me to do. And it's a cover up where the companies provide some legalities and security kind of thing, saying that like you will be paid this much salary and giving an offer letter, and maybe going beyond that, like giving the visa and all those things. It gives some authenticity, so people blindly jump into it. But we are not able to do that, right? So we just say that, like, okay, come and volunteer with us. And everybody is frightened, like, what am I going to get with that? And what am I even doing there, right? And when we tell them, like, these are the things you need to do, they just start questioning things, which they are not going to do with the big companies, like how we got the offer for Nate and for you for 120K and 140K and $80, $90 per hour billing rate, and those things. We don't question anything. We don't ask them like, oh, what is my job? What am I supposed to do? Or these things I will not do. Nobody does that. So that's my question. My struggle is to understand how do we take this forward.
Yeah, that my thought, like like after seeing a lot of guys interviewing and talking with other people, I understand that people is ready to fake their own profile. Because they thought like it's not a fake on improve, like putting something more than what they are. And people thinking like if they improve, they think like it's just for getting a job for them. But we exposing like fake totally your name and your identity and other things. People are troubling to do it. Can Yar and Mohammed, like Mohammed and Amar, can you?
Is that what you both intention are? I'm still struggling to understand. Yeah, is that what troubles you not to engage fully, or what is your viewpoint? Because I don't know exactly what's going on in your mind.
Mohammed, I am correct. Like you and other people are thinking like there is not a fault on doing fake on your own profile, but doing something for a fake, totally fake profile with a fake name and other things. That's the problem with that. What do you think?
Yeah, you were right.
Go ahead, Amar. What do you think? Like, are you like this is the problem with us? We ready to fake our own resume, but we don't want to fake our total identity, like a name and other things. What we are still now. That's a problem between this and that.
Yeah, right. But those are government certified. That's why we do like this.
Yes.
Then it will be really
And one final question. Yes, one final question for Amar and Mohammed. If we creating a same profile, what you have with Ramji or Shiva or Peter or other thing, with your name and with your own identity, like we'll create a in your name. Can you go with and work for Cognizant or Infosys or any other company with your own identity?
Yeah, it's possible because we already have tried.
Not possible with the same like a Scrum Master and the name only like not Ramji with Amar and like all your own IDs need to submit and other thing and you will get a job what you are. Is it okay for you?
You're providing my own documents or
Not your own resume with your own name, own identity with some different profile like a Scrum Master.
yeah, it's possible. I think.
What do you think, Amar? Mohammed? Mohammed, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
I think with personal, maybe for Omar, maybe yes, but I don't think so. This H1B it's for Pakistanis because my name is it's more like Pakistani or Turkish or like that. So the recruiters will believe yes, this is genuine or
No, Indians have the same name. No? Yeah, Mohammed is a lot of there in Indians.
really.
Mohammed is common name. Yeah, common name. No, Mohammed is a common name in
Yeah, Mohammed is
Muslim.
common, but
Among,
yeah,
yeah, yes. Yeah, they won't see like. Do you think like recruiter or skilled person? They have knowledge as to identify with the name.
no,
What? They
no,
would. They only know Mohammed is a Muslim name. That's it.
yes,
They
yeah,
won't.
that's
They won't look like he is Pakistani or he is from Bangladesh or he is from India or some other Muslim country.
this
They
experiment
won't.
from Muhammad, I will do it when once I will if I will reach Pakistan just to see. I will just experiment the other aspect of this experiment. That how let's see how is the recruiter response to Muhammad other than like Peter or Akash or for example like Hindus or some other. Uh, so that's sure I will experiment. Yeah.
So
But for now, let's see.
Mohammed, correct me if I'm wrong, you're experimenting with the religious discrimination, right? So whether
No,
Indians
this is one of
between
the aspect. Like I
Muslim.
know when somebody see Peter profile, oh, American, so they respond me. But when they go into detail, oh, you are H1B, alas, they forget, alas, no need. So
Yeah.
I will evaluate the response. Like, will they respond to me for the initial resume request or not even with Mohammed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like other Amar and Mohammed, like if any company have any recruiter company have sponsor you and get an H1B visa, are you ready to go and work there in US with a fake profile like with your name? You will get an H1B visa and with a fake profile like a Scrum Master or project manager. Are you willing to go there and work directly, not remote? Huh?
Directly you cannot. How you will go through
No,
all
no,
the
sponsorship will be there. Like H1B visa, you'll get it and you will get a visa. Is it okay? Like if you get an H1B visa, are you okay to travel there and relocate to US and settle there? Because a lot of people is going there, like from India, like most from Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad, and like Punjab, and lot people are they have set up a company in local there, and they train them in here, like they charging more than 10 lakh. They train them for 6 months. After 6 months, they provide the H1B visa and they put them in US. The same way, there is a US company is there. They will train you for a break profile with your name, and you will get an H1B visa, and you need to relocate there. Is it okay for you?
Even if it is okay, how come you will go? How you will clear the immigration? You don't have the travel documents like passports, all of these things. Physically,
No,
you cannot. I don't think so.
no. That's the thing. Then it's original with your name, not fake.
Right.
With your
Oh,
original name. I'm saying with
original.
your original name. With your original passport, original visa, you'll get a original visa, another thing. Just
Mhm.
only the resume will fake. Like with your name, you have an experience of Scrum Master for 10
No,
years or
you're not giving a clear picture, right? So this
go
is
on. Yeah.
confusing
Yeah.
for them. That's why like they are not able to answer. So let
Okay.
me jump in here. Mohammed, this
Yeah.
is just like how you got a sponsorship to go to Saudi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same way to come to
Mm.
US, the employer will apply for H1B and it's a lottery system. And if you get selected in that, you are lucky. No matter what your qualification is, what
Oh,
your
yeah.
background is, but you will get selected in that lottery based on your education background and your employer's intention to sponsor you, right? So as an employer, what I provide to the US government saying that like this candidate I need for my company in US, they are going to allow that. So once they have allowed, once you got the visa, no matter what, you will be excited, right? So your
Yeah, with the original, yeah.
yes, your
Like
employer is
the qualification and experience will be fake, but your documents will be okay. So in that way, yeah, it is possible. But as far as acceptance is concerned, personally, like I have experienced the things in Saudi, and I'm hearing, like the what we can say, um, so many like the lollipops, like in the way in Europe and in US. It is the situation there is very good. But as an experiment, what we are doing since this 1 month, what I'm hearing, it's almost the same. So I want to explore. Actually, I'm kind of adventurous kind of guy. Like I want to explore different different cultures, and different destination. I even want to visit India. so, so for me, in that perspective, like I want to actually explore the world. And
oh
as far
Maybe
as
yeah,
what is
Mohammed,
JK?
give me a minute. We are joined by our guest, Dr. Greg Bicknell. Let's
Yeah.
talk to him and then like we'll go over our conversation.
Hi, doctor.
Hi, Dr.
Hello.
Greg. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So I'm traveling. I'm trying to get to where I can pull over. I was in a place where I couldn't get service, so I'm on the south side of Florida, coming back up north. So I'm going to try to get pulled over here, but I just literally got to where I could pull in. So I'm pulling over on the side of the road right now, so I can talk to you guys.
Okay, sure. Yeah, thank you. And be
Yeah,
safe.
no problem.
I don't want like you to
Yeah.
drive and
Okay.
talk to us. And
Yeah.
we really appreciate and thank you for joining us in a short notice.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I'm traveling back. I literally woke up out of bed, so hopefully this isn't being recorded. If it is, your audience is going to be really shocked. I got up out of bed after dropping some folks off there. I had 10 female veterans that are taking a sailing trip this week, and they're going from Key West to Dry Tortugas. And what's so cool about that is after about 2 hours, there's no cell phone service. There's nothing like that. So it's you, the stars, the water, and the boat. And so it's so cool. And they leave today, probably around. Actually, they're probably already set sail. I didn't get that call yet, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Shiva, do you mind like introducing or should I go ahead and
Yes, you can go ahead. We can introduce also.
yeah, Dr. Gary, like we met on the social media again. You are excellent clinical psychologist, licensed profession, and I know that you have been nominated for the Changemaker Award for the Child Mind Institute for your work in raising awareness about youth and mental health services. why don't you give our audience like a brief about yourself and talk about your profession and what you do?
Okay, so I'm going to be straight. For one, so I just to let you know, I think it's the Camaraderie Foundation that you're looking for. I'm Camaraderie Rescue Mission, and she's the one that's a licensed clinical social worker. But we do work in the same fields. I work with horses doing equine therapy, as well as we do some trauma resiliency protocols where we take folks, we use visual imagery, and we're able to take their the PTSD and the emotional management stuff and move it to long-term memory. And what's so interesting about that is the first time that I was introduced to it, I literally told the folks that introduced it to me, the clinical oversight, Dr. Janelle Royster, I told her, I said, I think this sounds like a bunch of crazy nonsense. And so I know that's not good publicity, but when we sit down and actually they walk me through it now, I'm able to go and give speeches from a different perspective because there was things from I'm a 29-year retired military guy. And from the perspective of that, I'm able to speak on things that before I couldn't. So, we work with veterans. We try to give veterans and first responders and really the community a reason to live, but our focus is on ending isolation and suicide. And the way that we do that is we do these events like this sailing trip to where it's therapeutic in nature. And then we have other things that happens to where it is. So the first week of May, for example, I have 10 folks coming in, up hopefully 15. We got a few more slots to fill. And we'll have a week to where we take folks out. They work with horses. They do interactions. And then they get close and we use natural horsemanship where they literally, you have to approach a horse the same way, with a body language that's very welcoming, because when you don't, you can't lie to a horse. And with folks like me, I told some stories for a long time and didn't quite, speak it and come straight forward. And I became suicidal at one point, and it was because I was hiding a lot of stuff. And so when I got around the horses and we started looking eyeball to eyeball, I really felt like that horse was looking right into my soul. And I knew that at that point that I was kind of stuck with this situation to where, I'm going to have to really humble myself in front of this, 2,000-pound amazing animal in order if I'm going to succeed. And that's why that therapy is working so much in the demonstrations, is because the fact that when you get in there, you literally have no other option if you're going to be successful than to calm yourself down, to work on your breathing, to do those things that makes you relax, to be able to interact in a way that gets you some progress. And so for me personally, I had my treasurer of my nonprofit Camaraderie Rescue Mission, he went in with the horse. And when he arrived in there, he really looked like, I tell people, like Iron Man. He always appreciates when I say that, but he just looked really rigid and stiff, to where he didn't quite look like he was, very open and welcome. And by the 30 minutes later, when he came out, he had humbled himself. He was like, very welcoming, and you could see it in his face. You could see it in his body language. And when he walked out, he said, in the 30 minutes that I was in there with that horse, I think that did more for me than the last 5 years of me seeking professional help. But it is professional help because we have licensed clinicians on staff as well that come in that also work with horses. So, it's just, you get into a different mind frame, I truly believe, because you're outdoors, you got the fresh air, you have all these things that are going on, and it just allows you to truly focus, and you're listening to what the horsemanship person, Nancy Slater, very amazing woman. She's been doing this for about 30 years, and it really sets folks up to where they truly can get to know the horse and what they're doing. So that's a little bit of what we do. We call it horses, barbecue, and water, to where I bring people in. We work with horses. We also do sailing events, adaptive sports or adaptive fishing and things like that on the freshwater. And then we also have I think there's about 10 nonprofits that we work with now, that everybody has their specialty. And I realized really quick that one modality did not equal a fix for every single person. And so we have these folks that we've formed this exchange. We call it the Camaraderie Exchange, to where we really, it's like, I should use a better term, but it's like a circus. That's the way I can explain it. As we move around, we can be brought to a different location. And through my coffee business that I sell, we have a venture fund set up, and through the profits of the coffee, it helps fund to get us around to the places where people need the help. So at the end of the day, my whole goal in life and my whole goal with doing all of this is helping people that need the help where they need the help at. And so we know that not everybody can always pack up and come to us. And so we pack up in many cases and go to them, whether that's, and sometimes that's on Zoom and sometimes that's face-to-face and in person. But, we, Camaraderie Rescue Mission, we give folks a reason to live abundantly, and, connect, support, sustain are our three pillars. And connect is the very first one that we think we have to do. We know that's a fact, because if you don't connect with someone, the support and sustain just doesn't work very well. So that's kind of my intro. That's what we do. And I appreciate you guys having me on.
Sorry for that confusion. I got it mixed up with. So Greg, you are also a certified life coach. So this suicide prevention rescue mission that you do engage with, so does that come from your professional background of, as you mentioned, like you were at some point suicidal, and was that the reason like for you to do this nonprofit work, or what made you to use this?
Yeah, well, the nonprofit work that I did really came from when I was in the military. So I retired after 29 years, and at 28 years I'd had brain surgery. It was a really rough one. It actually didn't go so well, and I became deaf in my left ear, and now I feel a little bit nauseous, all the time. And so after that happened, I really came to a point that I said, I just don't know if I want to be here. And when I got to the point to where I had a gun to my head, and I reached out to a mental health provider, it was a social worker, and I said, hey, I need help. And I sent him an email. I got a response back that said, please make an appointment. There was no follow-up. There was nothing in it. And it really, that's not the way to go. And that's not the way to do that. And so it very much bothered me. But I tell people that day that, Greg Bicknell was having a pretty rough day, but Chief Bicknell, the military side, says we have to fix this. And so that's where it really kicked off. And then in 2020, I really went at it full-fledged, because I was sitting at home on the 26th of December, the day after Christmas, and I saw 7 military badges and police officer badges that had a black stripe across it. That truly, it meant that someone had passed away. Well, what I ended up finding out is 6 of the 7 had committed suicide. And at that point, literally, I looked at my wife and I said, I'm done. I'm resigning from my current job. I'm going to do this full time. And that's when it all kind of kicked off. And then, we've been working with folks all year. We've worked with them with the trauma protocols. We've had events where we've come out and we've had shifts. I also, and at the end for me, it's not truly about who gets the credit for it. I just want to see people that, like I said, that need help get it. And so 2 weeks ago, I went out and volunteered as a mentor at a program in Kansas City called Warriors Ascent. It's a week-long program, and I know for a fact that 4 people's lives were saved, to the best of my knowledge, because these guys, when they showed up, they were ready to be there. And I got a chance just to be a mentor at that, because I went through the same program a year ago to help me kind of straighten out what I'm doing. And it really inspires me. And so those folks were hoping that in the future, we get a system set up to where when the folks go through their program on the backside, we provide that aftercare. And then we do these events that we're doing, do alumni events where we still keep all those folks that had these amazing weeks and amazing shifts and life-changing moments, to where we make sure that after 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, that we continually feed that. And we make sure that, those folks are still in that right state of mind. And if they're not, we have what's called, I call it a 3-part approach. There's a clinical side. I call it like a sandwich. The top piece of bread is the clinical side. Then the meat is the coaching, because the coaching allows us, once someone has a shift, to move forward. And that's where that life coaching and stuff comes into play, and with the rest of the team. And then on the bottom's the nonprofits, but with the collection of nonprofits that are coming together to make this thing a success, we're literally building our own ecosystem. And what happens is, after they go through the clinical side, then they go into the coaching or the events or showing up at some of the things that we're doing, like this sailing trip. And we just make sure we stay connected. And then when folks are maybe struggling, we can push them back into the clinical side, or folks said, hey, I just need a checkup. And then when they go to the events where we're at and they show up and there's somebody that maybe have been to, that'll be an alumni event plus one of our events that shows what we're capable of. They come to those, and then the nonprofit side, if they maybe need a checkup, maybe we have to send them back, they need to go back to the clinical side and maybe just have that one phone call or that one talk to say, okay, how do we get you back to where you were at a year ago? Or they go back in the coaching side and say, hey man, things have shifted, life has changed, circumstances have changed. And now let's put you on that path of going forward and make sure that, we keep you there. And so that's really, it's just a network of care that we're building, and we're growing every day. And the coffee business is growing as well, and we're supporting a lot of people through that. And so, yeah, things are looking up. We're growing quickly, and it's things like this where people like you invite me onto your show and allow me to tell the good work that not just what I'm doing, what the folks around me are doing. Because again, it's not about just Camaraderie Rescue Mission. It's about all the folks that are in this field of helping people. And I want to make sure that they get some credit as well, because it takes all of us pointed in the same direction to make some of these things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was Greg Bicknell, founder, president of Camaraderie Rescue Mission. So you are an excellent worker on this. So my question, Greg, I don't want to take much of your time because you are busy and going on a trip and you're enjoying your day. I don't want to be the spoilsport. But what you mentioned as a war veteran, and also that what's happening around us right now, even in the world, what is your take on, like you mentioned, war is a sin, and you being a wounded warrior and also a veteran, what is your take on war in the current situation? Is it justified, and your opinion?
Well, I really don't go into that side of it. What I will tell you is that, my job these days is to keep people safe and to keep people alive. And sometimes, sometimes things out there get a little sideways and you have to use force. But these days I try to use as much love and compassion as I can to help move us forward as a country. And so, I know that's not the answer maybe you're looking for, but I really, I want to focus on the good deeds that we're doing. And hopefully, not hopefully, as we continue to grow, we can provide, that compassion, we can provide that love that we have, and folks that are going through some difficult times, because, they can reach out to us and we can help them walk through it. And so when it comes down to those kind of things, I really try to steer clear of it because I like to keep those opinions personal. But I will tell you that, I was in the military. I was there for 28 years. I think there is a time and a place. And that's not up for me since I'm now retired for the choosing. And I support the troops always. I support, on both sides, because I know sometimes that we're told, hey, you're going this direction, you're doing this thing. And that's what you do is you're a good soldier. You kind of, do what you got to do and pack it up and go. But I pray for everyone that's involved. Because that I think is something that we all just it's one of those deals where I really wish that we didn't have to go to those extremes, but sometimes people have to make tough choices.
Absolutely, well said. Like, so you are turning into a soldier to a diplomat, and you are being diplomatic on that. Before we let you go, like any one of us want to ask him any question before we wrap up this session? Shiva, Yar, Amar, this is your chance to ask any questions to Greg. You are on mute, Shiva.
Can I ask any psychological question about our mission, a slave and other thing? Doctor, what do you think about human being ready to be a slave? Is there any psychology behind them? The modern slavery, we're fighting against the modern slavery. What do you think on it?
Well, you're asking me some pretty tough questions there, and I applaud you for doing that. And I definitely don't believe in slavery of any kind. So I will answer that one directly, and that's straight from the heart. Is that we are meant to be people that are free. We are meant to be people that can think on our own. And anything that stops that is, again, why we're here, because sometimes people are physically enslaved by folks. And then there's times to where, we kind of enslave ourselves with our brains, which is kind of the part that I work on these days, is to help people kind of free their minds so that they can grow both physically and mentally, professionally, educationally, and all of that. So I don't want, my personal opinion is that no, that's not something that I'm in line with whatsoever. I get an emotional response on that. For me, when I hear that, it really, I get emotional. So it really bothers me. I kind of had a hard time getting through that one, but yeah, that's, man, no way. Yeah, that's anyway. I'm kind of a guy with many words that's speechless right now because it really just emotionally, it bothers me if you can't already tell.
Absolutely. Yeah, you are right, Greg. Yar and Amar, do you have any final thoughts or comments, any questions before we make a
My question, and I have one question. There is any correlation between the suicide rate and the COVID? The COVID, which is actually passed, there was lockdown, and it had actually impact on from kids till the aged people. So there is any correlation because you are working with communities. So there is any correlation between this COVID, what is actually passed, and with the suicide. There is any correlation?
So, I don't think I'm qualified to answer the question, but I'll give you my personal opinion. And that opinion is that I think a lot of it, what's going on around the world, really, I think we've had medical situations where political opinions and political entities have gotten involved. And, flu, COVID, there are some similarities between symptoms. There are also some things that really don't correlate directly with each other. But I'm definitely not prepared to answer that question. And you guys are coming strong today. I applaud that, man. This is, you get me driving down the road, pulled over on the side of the road to answer questions, and you guys are hitting me hard. And I love it. I love it because if we don't ask those hard questions, we don't move forward, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you are right, Greg. I mean, thank you again. It was pleasure talking to you, and you take care, enjoy the day, and hopefully we will meet again in the future where you have a longer time to have a conversation with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mind if I say one thing real quick? So
Yes.
just for us, we're trying to grow, and my coffee mission's growing and stuff like that. And if you look on my profile there on LinkedIn that you had pulled up, if you look at that, we're running we're doing a fundraiser right now, but it's actually a loan that's set up, or people can donate directly. And so if folks want to see us grow and help us out, we're trying to fund a loan so that we can buy some new equipment. We're also taking up donations. So if you guys happen to be inclined, or anyone that's listening, we would love to to accept those. So if you look at that profile and you scroll down on the actual post page, there is you'll see there where I've been on some different shows. But on the latest post that I put, it shows that we're up to, that was an interview that I was on, but there's one on there that'll show that LinkedIn link. It's actually a Kiva loan, and it'll say that, and it's where we're trying. There it is, right there where it says loan to Greg. But it's not to Greg. The loan is literally to it's to help us grow what we're doing and to help people. And that link at the very top, as of today, we're doing, people are really stepping up for us. And it's been, we're up to, I think 34% of the loan is funded now. We're trying to fund it quickly because we're really trying to help folks and get people in that right mindset. And just like when people go get a haircut, when you sit down with them and you have that true conversation, or whatever it is that kind of, round horses, you're able to have those conversations, and that loan allows us to be able to do that. So if it's always, I used to not ask these kind of questions, but I'll be honest with you, when it's about other people, I'm crazy not to, because it's not going to Greg Bicknell. It says loan to Greg, but it's really going toward our mission and the coffee mission. And inside of that link that's at the very top, when you click on it, it'll explain kind of my background even more so than what we've already talked about and probably what you've already read. And when you click that link, it'll go in and show you my background and kind of the story that I told you earlier about what happened, when I was in the military at 28 years. But if you wouldn't mind, helping us grow there, and then on the webpage, there's a contribution link. And if you hit that contribution link, then that donates to our bank account for Camaraderie Rescue Mission. And this one actually goes in as part of a Kiva loan. So anybody that donates here, they'll get their money back. There you go. And so we've got more so we've had a little that's come in. We're now at 33% funded. And like I said, it'll tell, that whole thing will explain exactly what it is that the money's going toward. And a little bit of money goes a long way in our case. And with this, what we're buying is we're buying a trailer, that enables us to haul our stuff. We're actually doing some marketing that we're doing for a large event called Camaraderie Freedom with a local boat company, where they're going to help us with a donation and help us with some other in-kind gifts for some boats, so that we can take veterans out, we can take folks in the community out, so we can really start connecting with each other. So I do appreciate you bringing that up, but that's it's something, and all this goes directly to help us grow and to help us be better stewards of what we've been given to help people. So I really appreciate you bringing that up.
Sure, no worries, Greg. Again, we specialize in providing nonprofits with the help that they need, and definitely we can connect offline, and we will provide you the support that is needed to get qualified to get a Google grants, and you can promote your nonprofit mission through Google Ads, and they are providing a sizable amount for nonprofits, and we can provide you other services like that. That is free of cost for you to get set up.
That would be amazing. Yeah, that would be great. I appreciate that.
Thank you. And
we appreciate that. Really, we really do.
Thank you so much, Greg. And it's nice talking to you. You have a wonderful day.
Okay. Yeah, you too. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that was Greg Bicknell from our network, from the LinkedIn source. And as we were discussing about various things, I got confused. I really apologize for messing up with some other person's profile and thinking that and giving an introduction. So anyway, we have been going around and discussing. So we will try to wrap up this week episode, and we have other topics to discuss about. Before we end this session, Shiva, Yar, Amar, do you all have any comments?
No, nothing. Nothing is there. We can wrap up.
Yeah, we can wrap up for now. Okay, wait a second.
Yeah, we can wrap up. Yeah.
All right, then. Thank you all. Bye for now.